Imagine waking up one day and realizing everything you thought you knew about yourself was just a story. Not the truth, just a story. Has that ever happened to you? That's where spiritual awakening begins. Today, we're walking through the 5 stages of this journey. It's not a straight line. It's more like a spiral, unique to each of us. Stick around to figure out where you might be right now. Spiritual awakening isn't some far-off, mystical thing. It's about seeing yourself and the world in a new way. Maybe you felt stuck, restless, or like there's something more out there. That's what this is about. We'll keep it simple, break it down into 5 stages, and look at what each one feels like. I'll also give you a couple of easy steps to try at every stage, plus some real examples to connect with. Let's get started. Stage 1. Living on autopilot. At the first stage, life feels like it's just happening to you. You're caught up in your thoughts and emotions, stress, anger, whatever comes up, and you think that's who you are. It's like being on autopilot. You react to everything without really choosing how. Maybe you get defensive when someone criticizes you, or you feel powerless when things go wrong. It's hard to see other people clearly because you're stuck in your own head, seeing the world through your own filter. I knew someone who lived like this for years, snapping at her family every time she felt overwhelmed at work, not even realizing she could stop. For a lot of us, this feels normal, until it doesn't. The shift starts when you notice something's off, like why am I always so frustrated? That question is the spark. Next time you're upset, pause and ask yourself, what am I believing about this situation? It's a tiny way to step back and see what's running the show. Another thing you can do is write down one feeling you had today, like I'm annoyed, and let it sit there. Don't fix it, just notice it. Stage 2. Letting go of the old you. Then comes a stage people call ego death. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's not about dying. It's about realizing the you've built up. Your job, your labels, your beliefs isn't the full picture. Imagine you've been telling yourself, I'm a shy person, or I'm someone who needs approval. This stage is when that story starts to fall apart. Think of a guy I met who thought his whole identity was being a successful manager. When he lost that job, he freaked out, until he saw it was just a role, not him. It can feel weird, even empty at first, because you're letting go of what you thought defined you. But then something clicks. There's a quieter part of you just watching it all. You're not just your thoughts. You're the one noticing them. It's a big shift. You can write down one thing you always say about yourself, like, I'm a worrier, and ask, is that really true? See what happens when you question it. Another idea is to sit quietly for a minute and listen to your breathing. Notice how it keeps going without you controlling it. Quick check-in. Which stage do you think you're in so far? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Stage 3. Searching for answers. After that, you start looking for something bigger. This stage is all about searching. You're asking questions like, who am I really? Why am I here? What's the point of all this? It's not just thinking about it. You feel it in your gut. Maybe you pick up a book, watch videos like this one, or talk to someone wise. You might try meditation or prayer because you want to connect to something real. I remember a friend who started reading every spiritual book she could find after a breakup. She said it felt like she was finally asking the right questions. Some people wonder, is this all just in my head? Fair question. But here's the thing. That pull to understand yourself. It feels too strong to ignore, right? That's what keeps you going. You can spend 5 minutes quietly asking, what do I really want to know? Don't force an answer. Just see what comes up. It's a small way to listen to that urge. Another thing to try is picking one question, like, why am I here? And carrying it with you all day. Notice what pops into your mind. Stage 4, finding the real you. Next, you start to feel like the old version of you doesn't fit anymore. This is when the real you, the authentic you, shows up. You can't fake it anymore. Pretending to like a job you hate or staying in relationships that drain you gets harder. It's like going back to how you were as a kid, before the world told you who to be. I knew someone who quit her corporate job in this stage. She said it was like shedding a costume she'd outgrown. This stage can shake things up. You might quit something, move somewhere new, or just feel emotional as old stuff comes up to let go. Your body might even react. Maybe you're more intuitive or having vivid dreams. It's all part of lining up with what's true for you. Pick one thing in your life that feels off. Could be small, like a habit, and ask, does this feel like me? If not, what's one step you could take to change it? Another simple thing is to look in the mirror and say, I'm enough. It sounds basic, but it can shift how you see yourself. Stage 5, living in harmony. Finally, you reach a place where things feel connected. You're not just your thoughts or your body, you're in tune with all of it. Your mind, your soul, the world around you. You're kinder to yourself, accepting the messy parts instead of fighting them. That kindness spills over to other people too. You get that everyone's doing their best, just like you. A friend once told me he started hugging trees in this stage. Sounds odd, but he said it felt right, like he was part of everything. It's not about being perfect. You still see the tough stuff. Life's not all sunshine, but you're okay with it. You feel tied to everything. The trees, the air, even the chair you're sitting on. It's a quiet, steady kind of peace. Take a minute to look around and notice something simple, like a plant or the sky, and just say to yourself, I'm part of this. Feel that connection for a second. Another thing you can do is, when you mess up, tell yourself, that's okay, I'm learning. It's a way to practice that kindness. Where do you think you are right now? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear. And if this clicked for you, share it with someone who might need it.